I don't love this space as much as I like being out at the table because it's darker and like it's very crowded.
Yeah, and I miss the cats going up and down the stairs.
I had Mr. Tubbs at my feet earlier, but I don't know where he went now. But yeah,
well, so far today I've only walked one dog today, so they may interrupt us at any time for being. How's Lance doing?
He is he's got like allergies, so he's digging a lot. So he is currently knocked out on Benadryl. Yeah, his skin gets really irritated this time of year, so we give him Benadryl so he doesn't get hot spots because those are worse. Yeah, and he's completely knocked out. I have to go poke him every once in a while. You still okay?
So we've got some good books going on today. And I hear you've made one change to our room.
Yes, there is one small change to the room. See if you can find out what I changed. It's not
this comes from somebody asking. So see, you ask us for cool things and then we do them.
Yeah, we'll do them. Yeah, I'm very excited about 2 of your titles. And then a couple of mine I'm excited about. And I know one of mine you will be excited about.
Yay! Yeah. I know which title you're because we texted about it earlier. Pretty excited about it myself. I didn't even know it existed. And then it popped up on when I was reading reviews and I'm like, so it's on order, but it's not in our collection yet. But
nobody owns it yet.
Nobody owns it yet?
Nobody owns it yet. I even went so far as to do a main cat search for it to see if anybody owned it, and it didn't come up in any catalogs at all.
Wow. So, we'll have it soon.
Yeah, because I was going to put myself on hold for it.
And it's all photo. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right. So welcome to Book Talk Live. I'm going to turn off the ticker banner because it's annoying.
It's kind of cool.
It is, yeah. I find it very distracting though, so it's good for like at first.
It's sort of like major news programs.
Yeah.
I'll put my glasses on and be like.
Very important, very, very serious. Yeah. There's all kinds of things. Like they just added a countdown, video clips. I don't know, since we use the free version, I don't know if we can add video clips. I haven't played with it. It's just a new update, but pretty exciting.
Cool. Yeah, maybe we could come up with like news features, like because folks out there, we are getting ready to do a very modest reopening soon. Which
yes.
I think people will be. We have our barriers installed, and we have a plan in place. So it's very, very modest. But so maybe when that becomes big news, we could put it at scrolling at the bottom. Library reopens. Library reopens.
I know people are getting excited about us reopening. I've had a couple of questions at some of the meetings I've been at in the community, and people are interested. So I think once we have everything in place, we should definitely have Jeff do a state of the library address.
Yeah, we still need to get him to do that.
Yeah, we need to do that. There's just been so much else going on. It's hard.
It is. It's hard. And and honestly, we're working 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I have a hard time shutting off. And at 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, doing work, buying books. And then at some point you go, okay, working from home is really not good for your brain.
No, it's
never take a break.
Hard with the work-life balance. Especially like my current office, because our table is covered with like painting tools and stuff, is the bedroom. So it's like always in my face. But
I told you we might have visitors, and one of them sneaking around.
I hear little toes.
He was outside, and I'm like, I can just see him outside. I'm like, oh, don't eat anything. Don't eat that plant. Don't eat that plant.
Yep.
And he always does stuff when I'm on the phone, but he's going to be good. He's laying down, so that's good. So, all right. Should we get started with our book since we're so excited about them?
All right.
I'm looking to see if I can figure out what the change was. It's funny because, like, how we're so used to modifying screens. I keep wanting to touch it and go like this, like that.
Yeah.
And then I realized that's not going to work because this is like a laptop.
I can make it fill our whole screen, but then you can't see our beautiful hair.
Huh. I still don't know what it is.
But
let's leave it at that, and we'll let people guess. They can send us messages and let us know what they think has changed since last time. And we can do this. We can make it a thing. Somebody asked about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's sort of like a search or, hide a thing, hide a picture, change a picture. Like, what did we change last week?
Change something up. I can make it even harder, too, and have, like, different things that you can click on.
That'd be kind of fun. I must say I really do love my flower in my hair. I really am going to have to work at getting a flower.
I have to see. I might be able to change the color of that. I'm not sure. All right, let's see.
The color of the flower or the color of my hair?
The color of the flower.
Well, because I did my roots the other day, and I thought maybe you were commenting on the fact that I don't have as much gray as I did last week. So anyway.
I did my hair recently. I don't know if anybody noticed, though.
I noticed. It looks cool.
It's very subtle.
I have pandemic hair because I've been doing my own hair, which I've never done in my life. And so it's hard.
I cheat because most of my haircut is like just buzzing it. So it's not that hard.
I just do this. It's pretty forgiving with curly hair.
You got to watch Brad Mondo Reacts videos on Facebook. He is a hairdresser, and he watches videos of people doing their own hair on Instagram and Facebook, and his reactions are the best. So like somebody will like bleach their hair, and he's like, "Oh, honey, no." Oh, and like because people start at their roots, and you don't start at your roots because being close to your scalp heats it up the bleach and makes it work faster. So you start from the bottom, like when you're trying to brush your hair, and work your way up. And his reactions are just hilarious. So if you like the reaction videos, definitely check out Brad Mondo Reacts. They're the best.
That sounds awesome. I won't tell him about doing my own hair.
Yeah, I know. I always laugh, and I'm like, oh, somebody commented about Brad Mondo. Oh, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi,
I know.
Chris.
I always kind of think about when I bleached my hair and it melted, because that happened to me. I bleached my hair and the proteins liquefied, and I'm like, what would Brad have thought about how my hair just started like melting down my head, and I went F it and shaved it off completely. So also
one of our favorite library patrons, who I won't mention, recently shaved their head. So I don't know if you know that. I'll send a picture later.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, she often watches Book Talk Live. So hi there, and congratulations on your new haircut. It was a big change. I'll send you a picture.
Yes, Chris, my hair melted in your house.
And for those of you who don't know Chris, she's a celebrity on Mug Cake Monday.
Chris is a celebrity.
Yeah.
And Chris's partner, Jordan, is the one that dyes my hair for me most of the time. And he does a fantastic job.
And they have their own theme song, which I'm extremely jealous of. Like, I really wish that we had our own theme song, but then I feel like that's stealing a great idea.
Our theme song is pretty great.
It is. It's amazing. I love it. So, well, anyway, we should talk about books, even though our hair is a pretty great conversation.
And we get more views when we talk about our hair. It's weird. I don't understand it. All right. Our first book. Do you want to start again?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to go in order again?
Yeah, or unless you want to do our favorite first.
I should have put that one last, but I wanted it front and center.
So awesome.
I'm starting with The Darkest Evening.
Okay, so Darkest Evening is Anne Cleves. Anne Cleves has a couple of different series. She wrote the Shetland series as well, which I really love, and has been made into a TV series. She's huge in the UK. So this is number 9 in the Vera Stanhope series, which is also a BBC show. And the shows are extremely true to the books. Pretty much. The Shetland series is a little bit different. But if you like a good, solid British mystery, and especially if you want to start a series, Vera Stanhope is a good one to start, or the Shetland series. And she's got a couple of others. I think she wrote The Longest Call, which is a new character that I really liked as well. So she's always on my to-read lists, and she's just a great, solid writer with a bunch of different series and a lot of fun. I'm trying to remember what one this is. I have to look at my notes.
I have Shadows.
Oh, J.D. Robb.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to tell you, it's not my favorite author, but J.D. Robb is Nora Roberts' pseudonym. This is her more sort of science fiction, fantasy, thriller series. And, you know, J.D. Robb, Nora Roberts is just a solid writer. She's a good writer. She's a good storyteller. So this series, I put it in here because you cannot, I mean, it sort of has to be in there when she has a new book. They always make the New York Times bestseller list. And honestly, this is number 50 in the series. 50. I mean, like you look at, I mean, that's just so prolific. There's very few adult series books that go to number 50. And so
but Nora Roberts is way more prolific because she's also, is it Jane Castle or?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's Jane Ann Prince.
That's this another author that writes this, but I don't remember. But I mean, you know, so J.D. Robb, I mean, Nora Roberts has a couple of books, and she also, you know, she started as this like solid Harlequin type romance novel, and they re-release those all the time.
Yep.
A lot of her early series she's got one like the Irish Brothers or something like that that they've re-released multiple times. And so you can't not mention her when you're talking about new books, because there's almost always something. It's like James Patterson. There's this huge prolific nature, but number 50 in a series, and this is actually number 51. I said number 50, but it's actually 51 in the Eve Duncan series. So I tried reading one and I didn't get into it, but I've heard so many people say that they love it that I may go back to it and see, you know, but it's definitely kind of futuristic sci-fi stuff. But so number 51.
I didn't care for the J.D. Robb ones. They're a little bit too, I don't want to say horror, but like graphic maybe for my liking. Yeah. But I have liked some of her other like fantasy-esque series.
Yeah. I mean, she's a solid writer. I like her writing. I can't say that I don't like her writing. So even though she's writing a lot, they're good.
Yeah. All right. This one I'm excited about. And like I said, nobody in Maine owns it yet. So our link goes to Goodreads so that you can see.
Yeah. So I love The Rock.
Me too. He's my favorite.
I love The Rock, and I didn't even know this book existed, but it's basically a photographic story of his life. You know, his life. It's that Hiram Garcia is a friend of his that he's known since college, and he's just been taking all these photos and eventually just created this book about The Rock and his life. So there's lots of photos with him and his daughter. Like some of his videos are just viral with his daughter because his daughter's so adorable.
My favorite one is the one where he is dressed up as Pikachu. And then my second one is the one where he sings the You're Welcome song from Moana, and his daughter doesn't believe that he's Maui.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that one. That's great.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's such a wholesome person. Like he's so genuinely nice. He's one of the few stars I follow on Instagram, and his content is always he's just a nice guy. I totally hang out with The Rock.
Yeah, me too. And he's got that fantastic smile and the muscly, tattooy arms, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rock, you've got
yeah.
fans in Maine. You know, and you know what? I'm going to just put this out there as an open invitation that if The Rock ever wants to come on our Book Talk Live, that we will host him.
I'll have to see about tagging him. What does The Rock read? Because, like, honestly, this is the kind of thing that he would do.
It's an open invitation, so we'll just have to leave it there. That we're gonna
create like a hashtag, invite The Rock or something. Everybody's gonna have to retweet it.
Hey, I'm all for it. Go for it. Yeah. I think that would be great.
I would probably spend the time like this.
I know. I would be like, I wouldn't. It was like, I'm terrible like that. It was. Did I ever tell you about the time I met William Kent Kruger? Like, I'm a huge William Kent Kruger fan. He writes the Cork O'Connor series, and he wrote This Tender Land and Ordinary Grace, which, I mean, they've got, so many awards. It's not even funny. And it's in a paperback release, and people just love, he's just amazing. And I saw he was going to be in Boston. So I literally begged him to come to Biddeford, and he did. And so the agreement was, like, his speaking engagement fees are huge, and he did it just for free. But he said that he wanted a lobster dinner while he was here. And so I ended up taking him to Sea Salt, and I was like so starstruck. I was like, so Mr. Kruger, what's your favorite color? It was just ridiculous. Like, I couldn't put two sentences together because I was
Chris
totally
wants us
starstruck.
to invite her if we get The Rock. Done, Chris. Done.
Yeah. So The Rock, if you're listening to our Book Talk Live, we would really love to have you come and visit with us.
Comments, Facebook me.
Or personal message the library, and I'll send you my cell phone number.
I just want to throw this out there that our Facebook page is on my cell phone.
Oh. Anyway, yeah. So we knew we'd be distracted by that book, but we were very excited about this photographic essay of The Rock, intimate family portraits, and covering a period of time where you get, and there's one, like, I was looking up some of the photos, and one of them, he's dressed like Santa.
He's just the funniest. Like, one of my favorite movies that we've talked about is Furious 7. And in the movie, he's watching himself play football. Like, one of his few games that was televised back in the day. He's in the hospital, and on TV is playing his football game. And it's like one of the little tiny Easter eggs. And then his one-liners are just the best.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great. So
he is.
All right. Now we have moving on.
Now that we've
on The Rock. Okay. So this book is Ruth Ware. She's been, for the last 4 or 5 years, she's been doing one summer release. And I think it was David Baldacci calls her the Agatha Christie of our time. And I always think it's like, how can anybody compare themselves to Agatha Christie? But Ruth Ware writes a good book. I personally loved The Lying Game, which I thought was just brilliant. It was one of her earlier books. It's about these teenagers that have this game where they just create lies in front of people that don't know them, and they try to get away with as much as they can. And then, of course, as adults, they're sort of reflecting back on their lying game, and some pretty big things have happened, and they're trying to find their way through. So it's just really, really good. And then there's another one, In the Dark Wood, where it's a group of friends that get together after several years, and they're meeting in, of course, this remote place where they're, in this dark wood, and things start to happen. And so, but she's very, very good at building tension in a book and giving you stories that seem implausible, but then become plausible through her storytelling. So if you look for a good, solid summer read mystery, Ruth Ware is definitely one to try.
And then this is also the second book I'm excited for. Not as excited as the pictorial book about The Rock, but I absolutely love Carl Heisen.
Yeah, me too. You can't beat him. And this one apparently, any guesses on where the title comes from?
I'm gonna guess pythons.
Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're really good. It didn't even occur to me right away, but I mean, he's a genius,
But like
he's just,
I've read a ton of his books, so I
yeah, me
know
too.
like he focuses on the animals and stuff in the Everglades, and I know there's a python problem in the Everglades. So like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's definitely about Python. The thing is, I haven't read this one yet, but I've read a lot of his books, and he's sort of a master at pulling contemporary issues into his books and creating these plausible but quirky characters. There was one, Stormy Weather, there's a scene in that I just love, that there's this governor who's, I think he's like he becomes homeless, and he's, but by choice, and he's sort of living near this bridge. And so there's this hurricane coming in, which is why it's stormy weather. And he lashes himself to the bridge to see what it's like to live through a hurricane. It's been a long time since I read it, but I just remember that scene very vividly. I mean, there's just he's funny, and he brings in really kind of interesting climate change issues and contemporary politics and other things, but just makes his reading is just light. You find yourself sort of giggling and loving these characters that he develops. So I'm actually pretty excited. Like, we all need a little break from all the stuff that's happening in the world. And I think if you're going to take a break, Carl Heisen's a great person to take a break with.
yeah, I love how he sneaks in the humor into these like really serious situations. And so like it makes the books, like you said, like fun. I can't remember the title of the one that got me into his books, but it's the one where, like, in the first chapter, a man pushes his wife off the edge of a cruise ship, and she's
Skinny Dip?
Yes, Skinny Dip, and she's saved by a floating kilo of weed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's got these great scenes, but you know what? He probably rips them right from the headlines. That's the thing, is that
it's probably Florida Man.
Yeah, he's just a lot of fun. And the thing is, there's just not a lot of other people. Maybe Randy Wayne White, or Randy White Wayne. And there's a couple of other people that sort of write like him. They kind of have, but his are interesting too, because they're standalones. And so you very rarely does he ever revisit characters, so it's just fun because they're standalones. You can pick them up off the shelf. You don't have to worry about which one you grab. And he's written some beautiful YA stuff. I loved Hoot and Flush. They're just so fun, especially Hoot, because if you visit Florida, the little tiny burrowing owls, they're so cute.
He's got one. I liked Flush as well.
Yeah.
For the YAs.
Yeah. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so for my
too.
Yeah, I'd be down with that. Yeah. So my books are all linked to Goodreads or Not Our Catalog, because these are all books that just got ordered. Some are ones that I missed in my original purchasing spree for that month, and so I'm going back and filling in gaps. And others are ones that have just come out. And my first one is called More Than Just a Pretty Face. And the ones that link to Goodreads are ones that nobody in Maine owns yet. So these are all, again, fairly new. So More Than Just a Pretty Face is a young adult rom-com. And I obviously haven't read any of these because they're all brand new books. But it's billed as being like a funny romance. It centers around Daniel Jelani. He is kind of like the all-around Renaissance man, perfect high school boy. He's not the smartest, but he's gorgeous, he's funny, and he loves to cook. His dad really isn't super thrilled with the cooking thing, but kind of supports him. But one thing that his dad does think is important is his girlfriends, like whether they're appropriate or not, and if they're a good marriage prospect. So Daniel gets selected for Renaissance man. I guess that's like one of the superlatives in school. And he thinks that he has like the perfect opportunity to show that he's more than just a pretty face and get his crush's attention. He gets paired up with a girl named Bisma, though, who is not his ideal. Like, it's not his crush, it's not his thing, but they get thrown together in all these, you know, rom-com situations, and they both kind of start to determine that maybe there's more to this pretty face than I thought. So it looks, you know, it sounds like it's just going to be a light, funny, good summer read.
I love a good rom-com.
Yeah, and I liked the reason I chose this one is because it's kind of from the point of, well, it's not kind of, it is from the point of view of the male instead of the female. Usually rom-coms focus on being the girl in this situation, and the girl is always the, I'm more than just a pretty face. And it's kind of a gender flip, and I liked that. And I like the cooking.
This stuff never happens to me, though. Do you think it's because I don't cook?
It might be. We'll have to read the book and find out how to cook. My next title is a little bit more serious. As it spins. Come on. My internet has been super slow. And it's called He Must Like You. And if you're a girl, this is a phrase that you have heard before. Usually when like a boy pulls your hair or like colors on your paper or does anything like that, the refrain when we were kids at least was, oh, he must like you then. And it's the story of Libby, who is in her senior year of high school. So this is, or she's in her senior year of high school, getting ready for college. And her year has just been going downhill fast. Her dad has told her that she's got to pay for college all by herself. So scholarships or work her way through college, which is really, really hard. And also, on graduation day, you're moving out because I'm going to rent your apartment, your bedroom as an Airbnb room. Then she is at work one night when one of her customers gets a little handsy with her. And it doesn't quite say what he does to her in the description, because again, I haven't read these books, but my guess is like he pats her on the butt or something. And she dumps a pitcher of sangria on his head. Unfortunately, he's like a pillar of the community. It gets her fired. She gets kicked out of her apartment, and there is a whole scandal in the community about what happened. So now Libby has to deal with all that, being kicked out of her house senior year, trying to figure out college, and being angry at what is a really crappy situation. So it's a story about, according to the description, consent, rage, revenge, and the potential to be better people. So it seemed really interesting. This to me seems more like one of the new adult books, so a little bit more of a mature than like the rom-com of my previous book. But I also love this cover. This cover is fantastic. You can tell from the cover that Libby is just done. She is done with your crap.
Yeah. And, you know, it's such a contemporary issue.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because when, like, who hasn't had this happen to them? You know, it's like, you know, inappropriate stuff. Like, you know, yeah. And I think that as women, we've always been taught, like, you know, don't talk about it and don't, you know, it's, yeah. So I think it's important to get this in the hands of people, you know, open conversations.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. And it is a great cover.
It is. So this is the one I think you're going to be excited about. This is Unravel the Dusk. And if the cover image will load. it is the sequel to, oh crap, I just forgot the title. Spin the Dawn. Spin the Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The one from a couple of months ago.
Yep. The Mulan versus Project Runway title that is, as a description. And also, look at this cover. It is absolutely gorgeous.
It is really gorgeous.
So it's the second part of Maya's journey, where she has been sent off to sew the dresses of the sun, the moon, and the stars. She returns back from her journey to find the kingdom pretty much at war. The boy she loves is gone, and she is forced into wearing the dresses in order to prevent the country from going to war. And this to me, it again falls back more into the different fairy tale. Like, to me, this is not a Mulan fairy tale. It's the story of like Deerskin. I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of the old fairy tales, but Deerskin is like a pre-Cinderella, where a princess has to sew these dresses and marry the king. So it really has more parallels with that than Mulan for me. But back to the book. So she's now the bride to be for the king. Not really thrilled about that since she didn't like him in the first book. There's war raging around her, and there is like her magic is starting to kind of go out of control because she's in turmoil. So she is going on another like magical journey to save herself, protect her family, and also bring peace to the country. So I have a feeling there's going to be a book 3 to this. Pretty sure.
It sounds like it. That's a lot to cover in 2 books.
That's a lot to cover, yeah. I can't get over the cover, though. I love these covers.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just such a great character. And she just looks, it's just a great cover. The colors are great.
And there's so much going on with it. There's like the birds flying out of her dress. You can see, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see it. Like you can see the magical turmoil in her hands becoming, I don't know, like a demon's hands, maybe. And then like all the celestial imagery, her tailor's tools at her waist. Like there's a lot going on in here, and it's just the attention to detail. You know, the artist really took some care in their work. All right, what's my next title? My next title is called Smash It. And this one, again, just seemed like, that's the wrong link. That's not the right link. I continue to type. I'll have to fix that.
We could go back to the rock while we're waiting.
Yeah, we'll talk about the rock.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about how we could get him. So we hashtag invite the rock.
Yeah, hashtag or MacArthur Rock. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. What would be a good hashtag? I mean, we could go like, I don't want to do Biddeford Rocks because that's being used by that for the little the
little rocks.
Yeah.
That has a great cover.
Yeah. So this is one of the enlarge the cover. This is one that nobody in Maine owns yet. It's a brand new book. That cover is enormous. Goodreads. What are we doing? There we go. And it is an Own Voices novel by Francina Simone. It's kind of a silly, fun book, but it's also got a little bit of like realness to it. So Olivia, also known as Liv, is super insecure. And in her junior year, she decides that F it. She's done. She's done being insecure. She's going to set that aside and become who she's supposed to be. She's going to be amazing. So she makes a get list. And her list has 3 things. 1, be bold and do something that scares me. 2, learn to take a compliment. Side note, that's not that easy. 3, stand out in front instead of in the back. So her first step is to try out for the High School Musical, say yes to a date, and make new friends, which is kind of a lot. There's a lot right there. And it like starts out amazing, but she's stepping out of her comfort zone. So there are a lot of snags. She starts getting interested in like a bunch of guys, like 3 at once, which is a lot, but also it's high school. So, okay. And then she gets friend zoned by one of them. And so like it's super awkward and like as if high school's not weird enough. So the kind of overreaching theme of this book is what's the worst that can happen? A lot can happen. So it's a very high school. It seems like it's a lot of fun. This seems like a good quick read. I'm really excited to read it. I also kind of love, and I hope, I haven't seen anything about this, but I'm really hopeful based on the cover that Liv is not the typical like super tiny heroine. She looks like an average high school student, like not super skinny, not a size 0 type of thing. So I'm kind of excited that maybe there'll be some other representation in it. And it just seems really funny. And then my last book is called 6 Angry Girls. And this always reminds me, the title reminds me of like the Angry Jurors movie, that real old one. Was it 9 Angry Men?
The 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, that's it. So it's moderately similar in that there's a mock trial, but not really similar. So this is the story of a group of 6 high school girls who are done with the patriarchy. So there's mock trials, there's feminism, there's knitting, there's a little bit of rebellion. Rihanna is crushing her senior year. She's crushing it her senior year until she gets dumped. She gets dumped by her boyfriend, by the drama club, and by the college of her dreams. Then there's Millie Goodwin. The all-boy mock trial team votes her out. So she is booted off the all-boy trial team, even though she is one of the founders of the group, and they're pissed. So they join up with 4 other girls who are going to take on the mock trial team and start their own. And in the process, their goal is to smash the patriarchy. So it's kind of like a political hipster, not hipster, high school romp. And it just seemed a lot of fun. It's something I want to read. Definitely something I would have picked up when I was in high school. I was trying to teach myself to knit when I was in high school. I quickly lose my attention span when I'm trying to knit. But
I've gotten better at it.
Yeah. Oh, is that your blanket?
Yeah.
How big is it now?
Yeah. It's pretty big.
Running out of yarn.
No, I've got like seven things of it.
Oh, so you've got a ways to go. You can keep that going.
I'm going to end it soon. I think when I finish this block, I'm going to end it.
Is it big enough though?
It's really just a lap size because I didn't realize it's really not that wide. Like there's one end, there's the other, so it's not that big, but it's actually sort of a fun one to knit. And in the beginning of the pandemic, I was knitting a lot more. But
it's hard to focus right now.
It is. And honestly, it's fun, and I really love our knitting group. Like, I love the people, and I love the fact that we have people from California knitting with us now. And, it's really brought people together, but I'm just not really a knitter because I'm not a sit still person, which is another word for probable ADD.
I get very antsy trying to sit and just focus, which is why all of my knitting projects are like this big. Like the most complicated and like large thing that I've ever made is a hat.
Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Okay.
You said it, so now you're not going to.
So, you know what I'm going to try for next week? This is totally off topic. Can you see it?
Oh, is that?
So we're starting this new thing because we know that there's a lot of people that during the pandemic have been really struggling with internet connectivity. So we have these new hotspots, mobile hotspots. And I am testing one for us.
I saw those on Brooke's desk, I think last week when I was in the library, and I was like, ooh, are these what I think they are?
Yeah. Because we talked about it. We talked about it a while ago, too, because we know that there's a lot of people that struggle in our city with connectivity. And so I took it because I live outside the city. So I took it so that I could test it and see how well it works. So we've talked about bringing mobile hotspots and sort of being in part of the community to allow people access or loaning them. So we're getting there, and we're really hoping that it'll work well. So
that will be an amazing service to offer. I know there's a lot, especially with the kids who are trying to remotely learn, and internet is difficult. Yeah. And I know working from home myself, in the middle of the day when everybody is online and at school, my internet tanks.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how difficult it would be if you're trying to Zoom or do homework assignments.
Yep. Yeah. So we're looking forward to unveiling that. So we get a lot. Maybe we could put that in our feed too. Check out our cool new mobile hotspots. Or we could just put it. Love it. That's perfect.
There we go. So hashtag MacArthur invites The Rock.
Yeah, so everybody start doing that so that we can get The Rock on our fabulous Book Talk Live.
That would be so much fun.
Wouldn't it be? That would be so awesome.
That would be so awesome.
That would be, yeah. That would be so cool. If he wants to come to Maine to sign the book, that's fine too.
Yeah. Oh, he's still in quarantine right now, so he can't travel right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he was struggling with COVID.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, but let's all stay happy with books.
There we go. I put our hashtag in the comments so you can just copy it and keep using it.
All right. Well, have a great week, everyone. And let us know whether you picked up what the change in the room was.
Yeah, feel free to put it in the comments or message us. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.